Hello, welcome to Smileys. Tonight we are discussing chapter 17, A Full of Light. It's a great chapter. You'll see. I'm joined by Maura. Hello, Maura.
Hi Lee, how are you?
I'm good, but I'm not the one having to summarize the chapter. So, how do you feel?
It's not bad. It's not at all a bad chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts very normal and then goes like off the rails. It's all fun, but we are I just want to make sure that people who listen know this is what we're recording in October 2023.
Yeah.
And it's not a
Not
pleasant
good
time.
things are happening right now. It's not it's.
And this is a dumb book we picked, so
Yeah,
it's on us.
on us.
Right. So I didn't even bother naming the scenes and all. No cute names or anything. So if you have some name suggestions, please go ahead. Right. So scene 1. We start with the dumbest dumbhead in entire Malazan cycle, which is Khalid Bahan. This
Right.
entire
Yeah, go on.
The whole chapter exists thematically to prove that this is the dumbest guy in existence. So that's my thesis for today. So let's see. This guy this guy, he's thinking back to his childhood. So we just start off with his childhood memory where they were living in a new village, which is like still being settled and they're still clearing the trees. And the edge of the village is still wild forest and all that. Let's remember that Iced are very long lived, so his childhood could have been like hundreds of years ago. Because in his single generation, he's gone from having wild lands which are still being settled by villages to the opposite, where like there is like complete ecological collapse. There is one line in this chapter where somebody is thinking we need to make wicker shields to protect from arrows. But where are we going to find the materials to do it? So they've reached that collapse. So it's it's very nice to put it like in a single generation rather than, humans going from generation to generation and each generation losing the resources. It's just him from a wild forest to now with no material to make to make shields. Right. So what has happened in this village was they were being attacked by a pack of wild dogs, which were in turn driven out of the forest by some wild wolves there. Right? So they were attacking, people tried hunting them, they kept failing. And when finally some kids died, Khalid's father, he brought home this stranger, a feral looking guy, a Jalak. Right? Now, just wanted to remind you that Korea used to think that the Jalak were not even ties, they were complete animals, is what she used to think. So that's how he's treated. He's like kept outside the back door. He just lives in his own filth. All day he gets drunk and growls at people or something. But in the evening, he goes into the woods and he doesn't return for 3 days. When he comes back, what does he have?
The skulls of all the dogs.
He has 26 boiled skulls of dead dogs, is what it says.
Yep.
Boiled, right? It says that. Yeah, so he has proof that he's killed these wild dogs. And when he comes back, he gets payment. How is he paid?
A cask of cider.
1 cask of cider. He just gets drunk and passes out. And next day when they wake up, he's gone, but he's taken the empty cask and he's gone, and he's left behind the skulls, obviously. Now, this is a core memory for Khalid. So what does he do? He associates this anything which he fears. He associates with this type of the dog fangs, like bear dog fangs, is what he associates with his fear. Now, he's talking to the one of the scouts who have returned from fruitlessly chasing Sharinas. So the scout is telling the story and he's so scared. Seeing him reminds Khalid of this childhood memory. So the scout says that, the forest is full of deniers and they were being hunted with arrows like they were animals. So sad. Who uses arrows on, upstanding Legion soldiers?
Dishonorable.
Oh, right. Yeah. I hope they have protests.
Yeah.
He even thinks that, arrows, the coward's way and all that. Now, yeah, it is him. It's him. Yeah, he's the one who's thinking about making wicker shield. Sorry, I forgot. Right. So now, this exact thing is happening somewhere near House Manalat. Do you want to tell me where it is on the map?
I have no idea. One moment.
Somewhere in the west, somewhere in the east, somewhere.
Hang on.
Yes, hanging on.
Find the map.
We
Please
can't leave
continue.
there.
I'm gonna find the map eventually.
Does it really
Okay.
matter? So anyway, they're near House Manalath, and his lieutenant Esk. His lieutenant is called Lieutenant Esk because she's not fully lieutenant; she's Lieutenant Esk.
Yeah.
She tells him.
So yeah. Manalath is
Yes.
actually east. It's north of Giannis and Yeron. It's the most far away hold besides Narad Threadbare.
Okay.
And it's this side of Karkana. Like, it's on this side of the forest.
What
there's
does
forest.
this side mean? This side.
It's like to the east of the forest, right? East
Yeah,
side of the
thanks.
forest, and then the other side's Karkanas.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now she tells him that the house was empty. House Manalath was empty. So what does the brilliant guy decide? He says, let's go loot them. We need
yeah.
supplies. The house is empty. Let's go grab stuff. Right. And she says that, we have not yet spilled noble blood. She starts explaining, like she's explaining to a child. He says, what? No, we've already killed Andres.
I mean, yeah.
thing is
Yeah.
correct. But then she reminds him that no, that was not officially against the Legion crime, right? It was not our crime. And then she keeps hesitating to say all this. And yeah, finally she tells him that what they should be doing is target the monasteries because they're quite nearby. And what else does this achieve? They're going to remove the excuse of neutrality that the monasteries are having right now, right? Because the deniers seem to be organizing in the forest and they're trying to present a type of opposition. So who is responsible for this? Who is responsible for the deniers amassing and getting organized?
The Sheikh, of course.
Obviously the Sheikh.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. Halid, to his credit, he asks, can we even face the warrior priests and all? And she says, no, we're not going to face them directly. We're going to be stealthy. So then he gives the order. They're going to ride to Yanis Monastery. And as an aside, because again we have to be shown that he's so dumb, he says the returned scouts are going to be executed for cowardice.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, perfect. They came back because they were cowards, right? That's the logic here.
No, you should have stayed. You should have died. So we would have walked into the ambush and died
You should have
altogether.
just gone to some island and just stayed there. Why are you back here?
That is also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there is too much of real world thoughts leaking into this book, right? So now again, return to the flashback. Apparently, this Jalek guy did not go and fight them and kill them like Kasa would have. He's just poisoned these dogs. Sorry, it's been a while since we brought up Kasa. So, and this is the moment he understands the elegance of cold experience.
Ooh.
Nice, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what he thinks is, Halid thinks this guy is a fool to demand only cider as payment. He would have asked for 10 horses. 10.
Wow.
Solid 10 horses. Yeah.
10.
So his father reminds him that, just the way he poisoned the dogs, he could have poisoned the cask which was given to this guy. Right? Like, what is going on here? What are they trying to tell each other here? What is happening? I don't understand. And I'm very annoyed. So, but he didn't poison it because it was a fouled cask anyway. So they didn't lose much by giving it to him. It is basically like a barrel of vinegar is what they've given this guy. And he got drunk on that and stole the cask and went, which fair play. Yeah. Now, all this talk, he can't. He seems to be reminded of Nral at this because obviously.
Oh god, yeah. Okay, this is where the guy's a big dumbass.
Just to remind you that what the last time we saw Halid Bahan Nral interact with Taith Lorat was him offering his wife to, not his wife or whatever, he's offering Taith Lorat to keep her company. Yeah, okay, fine. So he's offering her, please keep her company and keep her out of trouble, thinking that Taith is going to just seduce him, and by now Halid is going to be Hunral is going to be all unmanned by now. But the very next scene, which he didn't see, was Hunral saying, get lost, get out of here. I don't care. And then he goes and fucks a cook fire. Doesn't that all happen in the same chapter?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So Halid doesn't know that, poor thing. But even then, he thinks that his plan is a massive success and this is what is going to happen. He will return.
No doubt.
He'll find this pathetic fool, right? And he will offer him a cask of poison wine or something to Hunral, right? The guy known for poisoning people with his wine, he's going to get poisoned by Khalid Bahan's poison cask. Right? And you know what he's going to do? He doesn't stop with Hunral's ambition of killing him. What does he do next? What does he want?
Yeah. He will turn upon
Oh,
Ursander
God.
himself because he's
Yeah.
had his glory, but those days are long past now. Father Light is but a title, and one that, I wager, can be worn by any of us.
Yeah, any of us. Why can't Khalid Bahan be the
Yeah.
hold the title of father like? And
I
go
would just
marry.
like to remind everyone what happened to the last guy that tried the same thing. He got stabbed by Corlat. So yeah.
Who was the last guy? I'm sorry.
Gallagher Fant, Lord of Light.
Oh,
The guy with the hands of light in the crippled god. He's
okay.
actually like the prime Leosan dumbass
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
the Book of the Fallen. Which, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So I think the Leosan just don't start in a good way, right? They don't stand a chance. Right. But anyway, I think this is a discussion for another day. Like who could be dumber than Khalid Bahan in the entire Malasan universe? I don't. Korab comes close, but at least it's partial ignorance. It's not a place of arrogance.
no, Korab's was stupid, yeah. When he actually comes to terms with like everything that happened, he has some pretty deep thoughts. He's not
He
dumb.
does? Yeah, he's not dumb. He's this Leosan brand of arrogant foolishness, dumbass. I don't know. It's just so Leosan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Scene 2. Scene 2 is our favorite. This is why we do this chapter. Gelas Torko is a master at arms, and Threadbare is his sergeant, and they are with the house plates of House Manalat. Now, why does Threadbare have this sudden Malazan marine type of a name?
Because she is a child of the Wardens.
Yeah. So anyway, they are using a telescope to look at the forest and what's happening. I can see you already smiling. You're already relishing this. So this telescope is of jagged origin. It's very old. And how does a telescope work, Lee?
You have like certain lenses, convex and concave,
I can't.
aligned. I don't know.
I
Shut
thought
your
you
mouth,
would
Lee.
know.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Sorry, I can't do that. So anyway, so she knows what is going on and she has tried explaining it to him, but Gelas Torko, he doesn't care. He doesn't get it. So anyway,
No,
all he knows is
yeah,
when he
we'll go
uses
about
the
it later, yeah.
Sorry, you wanted to
Yeah,
think
go-
of something? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that like he doesn't get it. It's that all of this is like a way to get in their minds. Like
It's a
if
way
he
of-
actually did care, he could have Threadbare just explain, yeah, this is how this works, but he doesn't actually care. He just wants
Yeah.
her attention.
Oh.
Just wants her to know that, like, oh yeah, I'm listening and I'm here and I'm your boss, but it's
And I
fine
don't
because
care.
you're here
Yeah.
and you're listening to me, and you know what? We're gonna get this through together. I hate you, you hate me, but I'm gonna take a blade for you any day of the week.
Yeah. Oh,
We're very
it's just
nice together. It's a very nice vibe.
it is very nice. Yeah. I was thinking more like when someone gets I don't know, there are like some things which I don't want to listen to. I don't want to get some things explained to me no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like that, I don't care. Maybe I could try, but I don't want to. Right. So what are they looking at? All that Storko cares about is that he can use this to see far things nearer. Right? That's what he's using this for. And they notice around 300 people doubling back through the forest. Who are the people? It's very likely Khalid
the Legion
Bahan's
soldiers.
300
Khalid Bahan's,
Legion soldiers. Yeah. And now they know what is happening because one of the scouts who were returning died in their estate a few nights past. So they know the story, they know what is happening. And what they were thinking was the Legion has killed all the deniers. They've seen the smoke on the wind and all that. They assumed that all the deniers are dead. But now there are like thousands of deniers still in the forest roaming around and getting organized. Threadbare has given it some thought. Right? She explains the concept of seasonal hunting parties of the deniers, and very nicely, I think Gelas asks what season, like what migration and
What
what were the
migrations?
herds.
What herds?
Yeah, so it is something which is all been eradicated or something. It no longer exists, but still the tradition continues of boys camping trip. So it's pretty funny. Just go and read it. I don't have to like
Yeah.
rehash every line of the jokes.
Yeah.
So what has happened is probably these guys have returned and they saw that all their families were already like murdered, and so this realm is a realm consumed by rage. Okay, so now they think that Halidwan has probably tucked tail and is returning back to Neret's sword, but she says, I don't think so. They're probably going to the monasteries because even though these are savages who are not commanded by anyone, these deniers, they still have faith. So then Geras realizes that they're going to attack the monasteries, and Threadbare says, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So what does he do? He asks, do you want to tell me the quote, please?
Hang on. What am I good at, Sergeant? Sir? Describe my talents as you see them. Well, sir, you conduct a reign of terror over your housemates, but you're fair about it, in that you don't count favorites. So even while we all hate you, it's a disciplined hate, and when you issue orders, we obey. And why wouldn't we? You'll be at the forefront of very nasty work, because you're nastier than all the rest of us, on account of you being angry all the time. You can shut your mouth now, Threadbare. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
And this goes on
basically,
for some time.
he's like the type of boss you want to work for, right? This is the type of guy
Yeah.
you want. It doesn't matter if he hates you or whatever, but when push comes to shove, he's going to be there in the front. That's the type of person you want. So anyway, my favorite, he tells her not to bother with lathering him in ghee. Why do the Thais have ghee?
I don't know.
So just because we both looked it up, ghee is not clarified butter. It's a type of clarified butter, but they're not the same. So anyway, it has to happen. They have cattle, they have dairy products. So ghee is just a natural thing, right? Now, and since the heads are missing, like the lady and the lord are all gone somewhere, we don't know where, it is up to him to decide the course of action as master of arms. So what does he do? Does he want to warn the monasteries? They both discuss about it, and they think if they warn the monasteries, Bahan and his 300 will be cut to pieces. This is going to be a big loss for Hunral, but at the same time, it's a big win for the side of Mother Dark. So there's really no decision to be made here. That's what he tells him. And even otherwise, the monastery has around 500 to 600 warrior priests who are all not somebody they want to face anyway. Right? Now, please, this quote, and then we can finish this scene.
Yeah.
I trust you all understand.
Oh, I trust you understand, he said to her. The hate is entirely mutual. Of course, sir. But having said that, I would step into Blade's path for every damned one of you. That too, sir, is mutual.
Yeah,
He grunted.
so cute.
It would have to do.
So cute. Right. So now, all the fun stuff is over.
Yeah.
Just prepare yourself mentally. All the fun is over. It's just shit from now on. Okay? So, scene 3 is, I don't know why this scene exists. I don't like it. And it's there. So, and it's going to be confusing. So, listen.
It's there because someone is going to bitch about it if it's not there.
Who?
The list makers. Because all these names you see, Anutagala, Manao, Ishtula, all appear in endless flashbacks and all the hounds.
Degala appears?
Yeah, Degala, Manal, Drefdenan, who we've not seen yet, but is in the Dramatis Personae. And Hishtula, but we've seen Hish. We know who Hish is. And
Headache
apparently
lesser?
they're plotting and what? Yeah.
The husband of Degala, the guy Headache lesser.
No, there's no husbands. It's just these.
Okay.
It's the ladies of each house. It's like the important figures, not that they're husbands. But ultimately, what Endis remembers is that like they're plotting, and in the civil war that emerged, Anamander had vanquished each of them, even his own brothers. But then he goes back and says that like his brothers fleeing was a ploy but the others weren't. It's very confusing. Draconus doesn't make any sense with that. Because it's supposedly before the coming. I don't know why I bother trying. It's like it doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
But anyway, these are names we've heard before in the context of the Thai Civil War from Call the Hounds, and they are supposed to be like plotters, like big names among the houses. And more specifically, we'll learn that Manal is suspicious and intelligent and smart and whatnot, which is something I think that tracks in this book as well.
Right. But see, Endist is mostly out of it for most of the books we have seen him so far. He's bleeding and he's not doing well. So whatever is happening is all. I don't think he has any first-hand information of what's going on. So we have to take his flashbacks with a pinch of salt. And secondly, even if he is, even if he thinks his information is accurate, the problem is Civil War happened and these guys were trying to do something like this Hishtula's meeting and all that. It's natural to say that either the talks broke down and the Civil War happened, or these guys were directly responsible for the Civil War happening. Somebody gets the blame, right? So from Endis hearsay, it's easy for him to blame these guys, whether it's true or not. I think there is a line saying that somebody dreamed of peace, but Hish did not.
Yeah, right? No, it was about the eater, and the person who dreamed of peace was Athala.
Who?
Athala, Salon's husband. His mother.
God. Right.
And the person who didn't was Kagamandra Tulas, which is bollocks. But anyway, moving on.
Okay. So this Steve just went the opposites, right? He just took the opposite, right? Okay, so who are the characters in this mini scene? Is Lady Digala and her husband, Hedeg Lesser. There is Lady Manal and her husband, Jureg, whatever. And there is a young housemaid. I just put his name down, but he has like one line, and I don't think I even mentioned it anywhere. So the first sub-scene, all these highborn people are riding outside, and they notice a group of 3 riders. Manal says it can't be her people because they would have surely sent Threadbare to give her any bad news. But so it's not that. So the thing is, all of them hate each other. They all can't stand each other. They're all very snarky. And it doesn't really matter. It's like some Victorian era show or something. That's the vibes I get in this. So since Dagala is the host there, she tells the others to please stay with the houseplates for your safety. I will go and talk to these writers. So sub-scene 2 is the guests, Manal and her husband. They move away from the houseplates because they want to gossip. She says she's going to kill these guys even though we are guests. And Yurek says, no, you please don't. And then they're all, it's like, she thinks she's very clever and he's very, what is that word? You enable someone, right? Yeah, he's enabling her for all her delusions. And anyway, the point is they're all going to this grand meeting called by Hishtula. So that's where they're going. And Manal says she never even really liked Hish.
Yeah.
Why? Because she's probably jealous.
Prettier. She is better with every weapon you could mention, more influential, and so on. So
I think we just have to agree that as much as the Leosan are unlikable, these guys are equally obnoxious. Yeah.
Sorry, for sure. No, I mean they only have the extra, I guess, burden that they're the ruling class, that they can actually affect change immediately and don't have to march with blades drawn upon the capital. So what I wanted to mention is that Hedeg, I lied. Basically talks about how wife, if you but guessed at the generosity of my love for you.
I think that's
a fucked up way to view a relationship. Holy shit.
Is it?
You're loving someone because you're generous. Like, oh, I love you, but this lady's so much better than you. She's better than you in every way you can imagine.
It's all messed up.
Yeah, he's.
How? Don't judge him like that. It's just. Right, we're not going to discuss this. Please.
Once these lowborn thugs are dispensed with, Lady Dagala, my wife, will face you with drawn blade for all the slights we'll list here.
Yeah.
I mentioned this because those very low-born thugs later in this chapter go on to do some really horrific shit, while the slights described here are, please stay with my houseblades while I go and meet my guests. Thank you. It's so...
I told you, this is an extremely annoying scene. I don't like it. But it's not over. This is the best part because Degala and her husband, they go down to meet these sheikh guys. So it's our three favorite people. It's Resh, Caplo,
You
and...
speak so Draconus. Yeah, go. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't listen to this. I didn't complete this chapter on audio.
Yeah.
Is it how it says?
The audio has, the audiobook has a very Scottish accent for Finara. It's very heavy-handed. Why did you speak so of Draconus?
Really? That sounds nice. Yeah.
I really like it. Okay, continue.
Why don't you all like Scottish accents? I don't know. It's fine.
No, they're fun. They're easy to make fun of, but they're fun. They're really nice, especially like the more like the lowlands ones, like from Edinburgh or from like areas around. Where they just sound more soft. Like the ones you often mock are like Highlander, which obviously.
Why would you mock someone's right?
It's not like they're mocking them, but they sound funny. But yeah, most like lowlander Scots accents are very nice.
Right. So what has happened is Degala has recognized Caplo and says they're all going to Carcanas at this opportune time. Why? Because Anamander is not there and it's only Silcus there. Right? Because only Silcus is there to protect Mother Dark, and so he's going to finish his job. She tries to throw shade at him, and they're all going to likely share the road for a while. And this is when they start discussing news of deniers amassing in the forest. Rish, Warlock Rish. Is that his full name? I don't know why I feel like I'm missing one of his names.
I think Resh is his name, yeah. Yeah, this is Resh.
Right. So he's unconcerned about his followers, and Degala mocks him because why not? He wonders why the highborn are even bothered about the sheikh and deniers and all that, and he's told that their neutrality wins them nothing. So, as they're all arguing, Finara gets to the crux of the matter. She says they're being coy because the highborn are finally getting to some meeting, and it's an embarrassment that it has taken them this long. But anyway, their journey, on the other hand, nice, right? Nice.
I really like it, Finara.
Evil throwing shade. That's what she is, isn't it?
I mean, she's Twilight, right? So of course she's throwing shade.
See? Nice.
Yeah.
So, but on the other hand, their journey is not a mystery because they are going to examine the Terondi. Right? And Degala asks why they need an assassin to go look at a floor. And then...
the perusal of a pattern on a floor requires the presence of an assassin? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
She says, I think she even says, give her regards to the floor to something at the end. So now finally, our favorite guy, Caplo, he opens his hood and starts talking. He says he can hear Manal and her husband bitching about them, and he can sense some future violence in them. He starts going on. Resh is so done. And he says that they are all arguing too much, and then he warns her that, Urusander is going to march before winter ends. And he's warning this because an Anamander has gone, and so these guys need to find a new warlord. So she asks, what is your choice?
Oh god,
And I love this so much.
Resh is so fucking good. Oh god. Like all of these characters, all three of them are really good.
Exactly. I want more of these three, and I wanted more of, Kagamandra and Sharina. So only these people, these writers. I only want these people, books and books about them. So now, what does Resh say? Who should be the new warlord? I did not
the
see
one
that coming.
Who would lose the most, milady, is surely the one who would fight the hardest.
Yeah.
But then, Draconus is not well liked among the highborn, is he? Despite his fame as a commander and his prowess on the field of battle, despite the zeal with which he would apply himself to the cause of maintaining things as they are, despite his incorruptible nature. Alas, the poor man's crime is being loved by your goddess. I love Resh.
So perfect, yeah. And then she says, if she loves him, why hasn't she married him? And he says, do you think a marriage would have sat better with you? It makes no difference. Like, he's amazing. So everyone is finally annoyed, and they all say bye, and they all leave. And after they leave, what does Degala notice?
He was beating them, and the woman, the warden,
Yeah.
Perhaps it was but a trick of the light, but for an instant there, I could swear she was wearing a circlet of gold, a crown.
A crown. And because hopefully people have finished this chapter,
Yeah.
we can say that Anestia tells Narad that today the crown was worn by someone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And that someone has to die, so someone has to fall, so the royal blood must be thinned.
I thought that meant the dying of Shakanto and Skeleton.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Okay. So Finara wore the crown because those guys died.
Yeah.
Oh, how does Steve do this? No, seriously. As much as we get annoyed by these tiny irritations like Degala and Manal.
Yeah, those tiny irritations hide so because it's all surface, right? Because these people have no depth. They're caricatures, and they're meant to be caricatures because Galen doesn't like them. And then you get to Lahanis and Narad and Anesdia, and suddenly it just goes, "What the fuck? This is the same chapter? Are you sure?"
Wait, we have to get to Lahanis soon. Okay, the same scene, but sub-scene 4 is Finara.
Why did you speak so, Draconus? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, thank you. It's that, yeah. He says he did it because he was annoyed by them. And then, without any segue, Capro says that he used to refuse to look at the ugly truth in old man Skelinus' eyes for years and years. They all knew that he was a monster, but none of them did anything about it. And then he says that Finara has obviously not heard all this because theirs is a secret to society. And where there are secrets, what will there be? A lack of propriety. Beware any Congress warden that indulges in secrecy. You can be certain that it does not have your interests in mind, nor will it accord you the proper respect as befits the innocent. So on. And in such a world, you need assassins because there is no justice, but everything is done in the name of justice. And Finara asks, is hope fruitless in such a world? And she's told, no, it is over-ripened and fermented and made addictive to all. Does it ring a bell? She asks if he seeks an end to secrecy. I didn't give you a pause to answer. I thought it was like Kellic, Simon Kellic.
Oh, yeah, good point, yeah.
Yeah, it's an addictive type of worship, right? That's what she's talking about. So, and then she asks, what does Capro seek? Does he seek an end to secrecy? He says he now has eyes like this and ears like this, and so he can drag everything into the daylight and offer exposure and revelation. And I was actually into what this guy was saying, and then Resh just breaks it. He says, this is how this guy talks. He's always promising something. Okay, he just keeps promising something I can't say that.
Cataclysmic.
Yeah, that. And what does Finara say?
I've seen the same promise countless times, Warlock. In the eyes of the false Mauser. There was a pause, and then Resh laughed. Scowling, Caplo made much of drawing his hood back up, once more, hiding his face. They're fucking great.
Okay,
they're great.
We lied.
I love.
So there is not all shit. There is a fun section.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is something interesting because Caplo's character development throughout both books has been very fascinating to watch, right? Because you have this assassin dude who's like willing and ready to give his life, if at Shakanto's word, to kill Mother Dark, because we must declare, we're not Mother Dark, to kill Triss, my bad.
He was also then told to kill Mother Dark, right? No.
I think they presume that he's writing.
Yeah, sorry, you're right.
Yeah. And then you have this, and then you get the Fall of Light, and suddenly everything shifts because he's had a crisis of faith. Their god is dead, and Shakanto's dying, and he suddenly has to come to terms with the fact that, oh fuck, what am I doing? What are we doing? And it's very easy at first, especially in Forge of Darkness, to discard Caplo as this spineless guy who is just, he's an assassin, he has no compassion, no empathy, no nothing. He has those attributes. It's just whatever he's become now lacks those attributes, which is why Resh grieves so. And the contrast between Capello and Resh is very good. It's just these characters are so well written, and I know I've memed a lot about Capelloing, and he's doing it here again. He goes on about something cataclysmic. Yeah, that's not you. He does it all the time. But this end to secrecy that he professes is similar to what Anamander said when he said, I long for the coward's confession. I long. Let me find a quote.
Which chapter? Where?
Chapter 9.
How do you remember numbers like that? Why do you remember numbers like that? Oh, sorry.
If I yearn for anything, it is for responsibility. Because it's
Age of
very,
responsibility. Yeah, I know this quote.
An end to the evasions, the lies spoken in the mind, the lies spoken to others, the endless game of deeds without blame, and all the causes of seeming justice behind which hide venal desires. I yearn for the coward's confession, and our Samuel here, Caledon, we are all cowards. And Calpol says basically the same thing, just better.
Yeah.
And you brought up Kellic. I think the difference between that and here is that Kellic is addictive in surrender. It's you surrender to it and you don't have to worry about anything. Here, I'm just super nerding out here, but like this is very much I don't remember the exact quote here. It's from somewhere in the Crippled God. It's Fiddler talking to Cuttle about the difference between pessimism and optimism. And basically, Fid concludes that optimists... Also, Calor has a very similar monologue. I'm getting way off track, I'm sorry.
Go on.
Basically, what Fid concludes is that optimists who simply look on and say, oh yeah, things will get better, and do nothing about it, are not just self-indulgent, they're actually fucking evil. I think that's basically how the quote goes. And instead, when you have a negative outlook on life, it can only go up. Pessimism, optimism, damn, self-indulgent.
Use the exact word. Okay, sorry.
I think so. Self-indulgent, something like that.
I might be spelling it wrong. Yeah, go on, please go on.
And yeah, basically, what Fid posits is that if you have a sort of a negative outlook on life, on the bad things of life, you have to actively fight to make those things better. And so Capital is taking a very similar stance here, where we hope that the world's going to get better. We hope that in a world of secrecy, see no evil, hear no evil, and so on. And you are essentially turning a blind eye to the vices of the world. So hope is an addictive substance, but it is not a good one. It's not something you should be partaking of all the time unless you wish and desire to act upon it, which is what Capital says here, right? And also, because I'm a fucking nerd, my boy has a very similar notion about this.
Yes.
In chapter 20 of FOD, when he has the monologue about, I see gibbets groaning and houses burning, and what I see I will paint. It's very similar. Exposure, revelation, the insipid laid bare, the liars dragged out into day's light, all the venal creatures who shall thrive with their secrets. This notion is explored through many angles. Even on some level, Leosan is what this is, right? Light that will come through and expose the weaknesses of spirit, of mind, of body. But that's not a good thing. Like, the way they mean it is not a good thing. The way Capello means it is similar to the way Renar means it, is similar to the way Kadaspala means it, and Rake, somewhat, in that at last there will be responsibility. At last there will be open information. There will be cognizance of what's happening and why it's happening. Like, this is what people do. This is what people should do. Rather than we're going to hide beneath a veil of like darkness, per se. This is more important for these guys because they're Shake/Eater. They look like Shake/Eater. So they're out of the conflict, and so they're looking in, and they decry both sides, which is very neat. But yeah, I think I've geeked out enough. I've like basically brought everything for. I've brought Kadaspala, I've brought Calor, I've brought Fiddler, I've brought Rake. Yeah, I think that's enough for now.
If
I
you
like
think of any
capital,
more,
you know?
feel
Yeah,
free to
yeah.
add.
I'll
Yeah.
let you know. Yeah.
Okay. Scene 4 has two sections, one with Lahanis and one with Narad.
Yeah. This is where it gets weird.
Lahanis section doesn't get weird, it's the next one. Yeah. So Lahanis is thinking about her childhood, and she was a girl of summer with a piping laugh. It's very, very beautiful. I can't do justice. Just go read this 1 or 2 pages. So she thinks of that laughter as a forgotten toy, which has been dropped in the midst of yellow winter grasses. And summer is dead, and even the young girl's bones are hiding beneath ice and snow. Right? In her place, there is now a child of winter whose voice is the rasp of knife against whetstones. Right? So basically, she has not even started processing her grief, unlike the other deniers who are, in some stages of coming to terms with all the slaughter they've seen. As for Lahanis, as long as killing is happening, she feels free of the past. Now, recently, she's noticed that Narad has been giving her a type of attention all the time, and she thinks about different types of hunting, and one of the type is intent. And even when she was a laughing summer girl, she knew to avoid
Mm-hmm.
that kind of intent from boys. But she knows that Narad is not. She doesn't think that he desires her in the same way. Okay. I think we need to remind people that this is Narad we are talking about. What is his one defining characteristic in cartoons?
Self-loathing.
No, he's a rapist.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's like so obvious that he doesn't desire her anyway. So, like, I mean, just after reading this book for so long, even you don't think of that as his first attribute, right?
There? Yeah, no.
Yeah, because
I think other things is first attribute, but we'll get to that in a minute.
so
Yeah.
right.
I don't like Narad. I think I've made it abundantly clear by now,
Yeah.
and this chapter only reinforces that for reasons we'll get to.
We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, she thinks that priests do not belong in wars because they make the soldiers feel guilty. She doesn't want that. And even if they're blessing whatever they're doing in the name of their god, every crime is away from any god. Like which god could sanction this type of killing? Is her thinking. So this is just fiction, right? It's just fiction. And anyway, at the time of the watch, when Narad gets up to go stand watch, she also gets up with her blades ready and follows him. He knows that she's there and starts talking to her. He says that his mask was cut off by a man who was using his fist to make a point. What exactly was the point he was trying to make? Narad still doesn't know. And he says that he was goading a 5-year-old boy only because he was highborn and he didn't like highborn. Obviously, the child didn't deserve any of these taunts, but when he crossed a line, the caretaker of this boy beat him up. And she's thinking, why is he even telling her all this? And she doesn't really respond because what she thinks is this mask of the people that she kills is all that matters. All
Mm-hmm.
their surface level features are not important to her, right? Yes. Go on, geek out.
The what? No. Is it about the gospel law? Right. Yeah. Because okay. Yeah.
No,
No.
it's like, yeah,
Because I have apparently a thing for remembering chapter numbers. This is chapter 13.
okay.
Uh,
Off.
where for the darkness last book.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Where our boy Gaspalinus comes across
He's not our boy, he's your boy.
my boy,
Yes.
Gaspalinus, comes across Narad and his company, and he sees his busted up face and like, oh god, nobody deserves this because no one deserves to have their insides turned outside.
Yeah.
Like you have, which is, oh boy. Yeah, Gadashpala was ever a cruel judge of character, but yeah, I don't know.
Right.
That's I have to for now.
Okay. So anyway, he says that a single punch would have been enough to make this point that he crossed the line. But the man was also a military vet, so he knew all about explosive violence and how thin the thread that holds him back is, right? So that thread snaps over a few careless words to a 5-year-old. And this is when Lahanis says she can't stop herself. She says this is why he didn't hold back, because the child was a 5-year-old. And he says, what of it? I knew I was being cruel. And she says, no, that's not what children are for. The boy was still in his summer and he's not even seeing the mysteries. He was as simple as a dog. And he says, no, I didn't even touch the boy. I never laid a hand on the boy. He was too young to understand his words. But who wasn't too young to understand? It
The
was the
veteran.
guy, the
Harlow.
veteran. He understood what he was saying. And this is when things click for Narad. He thinks that, yeah, the children exist within the grown-ups, and someday they'll be able to understand and take action, right? And at that time, a single punch will not be enough. Lahanis also understands something. The girl within her, who she thought was dead, the girl of summer and the piping laughter, has now filled the woman she has become. And instead of, laughter, she carries knives and tally strings. What are
Where else
tally
do we see
strings?
this?
Where do we see what? Tally strings?
No. This motif of
Children
with
filming.
with Remek.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
with because he thinks that the assault upon Abara was his passage into adulthood. He's no longer a boy.
Yeah.
But
Can I say something very cheesy?
yeah, go on.
When this is definitely something I've read in some chicken soup for the soul type of book. That I'm not just a
Which one is that?
20-year-old. I'm also 10 years and 5 years, and I've read some things like this. So it's, it's just Erikson says it nicely. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll look up more
So
quotes.
I have no idea what a tally string is.
Oh, good. It is something
hang
she
on.
uses to keep count of how many people they've killed.
I'm assuming that's what that is. Yes.
No, she talks about that priests in the camp. Each tally string, each knot they tie to the tally string takes them away from the god or something. She says something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. It's all sick. It's all nasty. So it doesn't matter. Now Narad thinks it wouldn't have given him much comfort. Please say that I've written it so idiotically. I don't understand what I've written.
I doubt it gave him much comfort, as in beating the shit out of him. And Hannes replies, "Well, she thinks you would be wrong."
Well, why does she think that? Because she has
Well,
not
because-
even started
yeah.
processing her trauma. That's
Yeah.
all I'm going to say. So
I
finally,
don't-
he
yeah.
turns around to her and for the first time notices that she's carrying these knives. And then he says, when the legion come, there is going to be a big battle. And if they're unlucky, it's going to be a single battle. And he says something like, you can see an entire forest with a single bloody tree. And he asks if she's pleased at the thought. Lahanis says, there's going to be enough battles to end the war. Isn't that how this goes? Or something like that. And then he says he wants to meet Orphantel someday and apologize. She says he's not even going to remember what he said. All he's going to remember was the beating this guy got. And it is only violence that turns a dog bad. This part doesn't really make sense to me. And I think you had a very less generous interpretation of this. He
What
struck
is
me,
that?
not the boy. Narad ground,
Yeah.
as if that made a difference. Yeah, please
Yeah.
explain.
So, witnessing such violence to a young boy would probably set a precedent, regardless of who it is that is the recipient of said violence.
Oh.
And I think what Narad misunderstands is that exact thing, because Harald didn't kick the boy, he kicked him. So that somehow lessens the trauma of seeing someone get their teeth
Okay,
kicked in.
then no. Do you know
doesn't.
what? Do you know what I thought? Because of my grammar, I thought he struck me. The boy didn't strike me, is what I was thinking, and it made no sense to me.
Oh, no.
He struck me, he didn't strike the boy, is what this sentence means.
Yeah.
Fine,
Yeah.
thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I should have asked this earlier, right? Because so anyway, the scene is done. She tells him, "Don't look at me anymore. There's nothing to save. There's nothing to bless or anything." And she goes back into bed. And that's when she realizes the need for priests. Why are they there? They're not to bless the day of fighting. They're there to bless the night without peace that is going to follow. Now,
Where do we hear that before?
I don't know. It's very familiar though.
Renard.
Oh God, it's either Renard or Kadaspala. So anytime you ask me something, I'm going to just randomly
Yeah,
guess
it's a
one of these two
50-50.
names.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Renard talking about the horse tent and all that,
after
right?
chapter 1,
Yeah.
after the first battle, her POV thinks that they will feel different, not in their body, not in how they make love, but something will be different after that battle. And then, you have chapter 9 or chapter 7 with, the Hortense and, the confusion between tent and temple, whore and goddess, and all of that. Oh gosh, this book is good. It's a good book. It's just
It's not.
this next
It's
part
not
makes no
good.
sense.
Why are we even reading this? Right. So, subscene Narad. Anastasia is back. She's wearing a wedding dress, which is rotting, but the smell of her violation is fresh. Does that mean that she's still bleeding? Has she become like a
Probably.
symbol, like the skewered goddess, who's just going to keep eternally bleeding?
We
Anyway,
did. Last book, we know that she was the high priestess, right? She was posthumously elevated to high priestess.
Yeah.
So how does Mother Dark sanctify things? By blood. So
yeah.
So probably yes.
Right. So she tells him that someone wore the crown today and another has to be turned away. Ooh. And then Narad tells her obscure statements were irritating enough, but your insistence upon unearned and unwelcome titles was infuriating. So he was at the forest and he blinks. And what happens when he blinks? Lee gets annoyed when he blinks. That's what happens.
The world changes.
Yeah. And suddenly he's staring at a silver sea in which there is a carcass of a dead dragon. And from that scaled body, there is a trail of blood and gore leading up to where Narad is standing, punctuated by a resting sword. And Narad's skin is all streaked red and he's breathing hard. Anastasia tells him that the dragon was named Latal Minas. Latal? Whatever.
Latal, yeah.
She has found her way into this realm in grief and rage over the death of her mate, Habald Galanus.
Yeah.
Galanus. Kindly note. It is Minas and Galanus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Anyway, that dragon was, of course, killed by the suzerain during the last assembling. There is zero chance I paid attention to this, and if not for this part, I would have again just ran through this whole section thinking, oh, it doesn't matter, somebody died, somebody killed. But no.
So,
yeah, seriously, what the fuck? Yeah.
Right. One thing at a time.
Yeah.
Silver Sea tells us that this might be the Vitter.
Yeah.
2.
Or Lightfall.
We know, or Lightfall. We know from Telerast that there is a bay of Starfall. Or is it Cruel?
It's Cruel and
it's Cruel and Skillen. That Starfall Demolane is a bay upon the Sea of Vitter, whereupon the dragons arrive. And Carabas washed up on the Sea of Vitter. On the dice side. Number 2, Latal is the mother of the dragon whom Erikson kills. And he calls upon her to heal him. Which is weird because she's dead. But if she's not dead now, that means that she's dead later. Which means, when does this scene take place?
Can I just say an easy theory? A very easy theory. All the Elite exist outside of time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Latal is dead and not dead. Galanus was killed and not killed, which makes zero sense. I'm very sorry, but this is the best I can do for now.
Yeah. And also, it's interesting because Tennis has absolutely nothing to do with Dark, Light, or Shadow. But both Menas and Galanus. Tennis is the path of the land.
Land, right? The walking through brick walls and all that. That
was Driss. That's the word of burn. Tennis is somehow affiliated with Fenner. And it's it's weird. But no, it's not the path of the stone of the earth, it's the land. What's the difference? I don't know. Anyway, point is, we don't know what this means at this point in time. We may know later.
We don't know.
Frankly, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I even compiled a list of when did this happen? Don't know. Why did this happen? Don't know. Yeah.
Who is this? Don't know.
This last semblance. So what this tells us a few things. We learn that Galanus' blood was host to the proper blood.
Can I finish it?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. Because this is just the first paragraph. There's quite a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Let's just finish it because it doesn't matter. It's ultimately we're going to conclude as we don't know. what's happening. We have all the
Yeah.
points here, but nothing tracks. So the guy she's talking to, who was Yedan Narad, suddenly bunches his jaw and he can feel his molars grinding and all that. She still calls him Yedan and appreciates his gift for brevity because he says something like, "There was a breach and a dragon came through." That's it. Then she explains that Habert Galanus was killed specifically because he was host to the proper blood, and this blood was proper for the suzerain's need because darkness is indivisible until that blood spilled out. So Draconus has been a dick
Can we
for
pause again?
millennia or
Yeah, yeah.
eras or ages. Yeah, please, I paused. Please go on.
So, what this implies is that Draconus would know that to craft the Terran die, blood would be necessary, and yet he still called upon his kin, the Asathani, to do so, and some of them responded in a healthy manner, so to speak. Some of them didn't and went down to the Sea of Bitter and got stuck. And others decided, yeah, you know what, let's do this, and then went to kill a dragon.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly fucking certain that Draconus would know this would happen, and he did it anyway. Whatever that says about Draconus.
And also, he has done this before by himself.
And also, he's done this before.
Without even asking anyone else to help. He just went and killed an elite because he wanted to divide darkness, and we don't have any clue of what is happening. If someone has read this book like very casually, very superficially, and then there is no way they can follow what's happening here, right? Anyway. So the point is, either when Mother Dark was given the gift of darkness, that's when he did this. Like he killed Habert Calanus and divided it and gave her portion of his power, or
which we would know, right? We would know of because it will be mentioned. Yeah.
Or this ass has done this like long ago, like long time back. So
because
this
we
is
know
not the first
how
Mother Dark.
Yeah. No, we know how this Mother Dark ascended. She went to the Spur of Andy.
Spur of Andy, yeah.
Which we've been to. And then she just jumped off into chaos and came out as Mother Dark. Nothing to do with Thiam, nothing to do with Habal Galanus, whatever his fucking name is. And there is no mention in Tice records.
Silly story that people told. She just jumped into chaos and came out. And how does it work? Unless Draconus had a hand in it. Yeah.
He definitely had a hand in it. I mean, it's pretty clear that the power she is partaking of is his, and that Terran die is a way to finalize that for good.
Yeah.
The Terran die is Draconus' way of giving of himself unto others for good. But there is no mention of Thiam.
Take up knitting or something.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. There's no mention of Thiam. There's no mention of Habal Galanus. No, we can take up knitting as well. Fuck this book.
Yeah, this season, whatever the next season.
And we have functionally the only mention we have of dragons is from like the Tice Dark Ages, right? Before Dark Ages. Before the Dark Ages is more proper. In like the Age of Legends, the Age of Gifts, stuff like that. When you had your tyrants and your Azathani banding together to destroy the Tice and whatnot. But no dragons, no draconic imagery. Even like the name of dragons is just taken from some random scaly lizard creature they have here.
Yeah.
Dragons are beyond legendary creatures. They're like mythical creatures to the Dice. They don't functionally exist in their cultural understanding, which is weird because Mother Dark isn't that old. She's what, like 500 years old at most? At most?
And we even had a working theory that she just, she could have been Rake's girlfriend.
She could have been Rake's girlfriend, yeah. Like
she's not that old.
Younger than Dragon's Keep, which is like half a millennia old.
Yeah.
So she's not that old. This, whatever this is, whenever this is older than that. Yeah. By a wide margin. Which begs more questions, as in, who the fuck is this guy? Because it's not Narad. It's not Derek.
Yeah, there is another.
Who is this guy?
Yedan. It's Yedan's all the way to the bottom or something, Turtles all the way. Okay. Anyway. Can I unpause? Can I continue?
Yeah.
Now, some Yadan says, he felt the return of the killer. But no, it was not him. But his spirit trembled at the return of Draconus when his sister was kneeling by his body. We can just clearly assume this is all talk about Draconus. Return to the
The
world.
killer
Draconus
is the suzerain is Draconus, and the watch who is kneeling beside him,
is
whose
Twilight.
sister is kneeling beside her is Twilight. So yeah, this is pretty clearly Derek.
And then he says, it was not him, and it is not yet him. Then they talk about. Oh yeah, go on, please.
No,
Yes.
I should stop really, but
No.
This implies because Draconus returns from Ragnarok in Dust of Dream, chapter 18, right? Derek dies.
Why do you tell me the chapter numbers here? But thank you so much. It's
Draconus comes back at like the end of book 3 of Dust of Dreams.
Oh
Better?
my. He comes
Jedi
back.
dies at some point in like late the chapters of the Crippled God. I think like 80% of the book. Last we see Draconus in the Book of the Fallen, he is chasing Erastus. So, what is this referring to?
He says
my working theory,
he was already died. He says his spirit trembled at the return.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So my working theory is that this return that they're referring to is Draconus' return to Carcanos, to his love, to Mother Dark, which implies one of two things. One, Erastus escaped, or two, Erastus is fucking dead. Either way, win-win. Yeah.
Couldn't it be anything? Wasn't anything in Not Me, in Novels of the Malayan Empire? The last.
So there's Morn in
there's
OST.
Only Morn, right?
But he's basically at the same time as the Crippled Gods going on. So.
Okay, good theory. To continue.
Thank you.
They talk about Tiamata and how each sembling has a different weakness, and how did Draconus know how to kill Habalt? Yeah. Just drop all this lore.
What? Since when?
Yeah, I mean, it I don't know how, but it makes perfect sense to me. Like at each sembling, there is a different point of weakness. So, and if you kill that weakness, is when the sembling is going to disappear. How did Draconus know to kill Habalt? And Narad says because he knows his own blood, he would have known. And if his death did not shatter the sembling, then Habalt would have still died beneath Tiam's fury.
No, Draconus would have. Draconus would have died.
Draconus would have died.
Draconus would have died, and then none of this would come to be.
Gone to shit, and I should not be reading books.
This is eons ago, and if Draconus had died at the time, there would be no Mother Dark, there would be no Tide Civilization, there would be nothing. And so she asks him, must we ever blame Draconus? And the answer to that is yes. Yes.
Anyway, then he shakes dragon blood from his blade, and she tells him, no, please don't get any blood on yourself. Or you will be consumed by a stranger's rage and grief and memories, and I don't want that for you. He says, don't worry, there's no more room inside me. Just quick cut to end of this section. This has already happened. The guy already carries lateral meannesses, memories, and everything in himself. Yeah. So
I feel your blood in my body, the heat of all you knew and all you felt. But against my guilt, you were less than a whisper. Still, how did you know what you knew? In your language, Alain, Minas is one name for shadow. And so on and so forth. So,
what the fuck? So we continue. Because it's been 1 hour, and how much? There is still a lot more, right? I don't know where I am. Anyway, now we come back to Anestia, who has suddenly become Sister Anestia. She's no queen, she's no high priestess now. And she starts talking about Cadaspala, and she thinks he's Cadaspala and tells him, I understand your aversion to painting her. And Narad says, no, I'm not that brother. And then she asks, where is Krill? The one who wanted her to carry more depth than existed in her. And then he turns and looks at her again, like as if for the first time. He sees Lahanis for the first time. He sees Anestia for the first time. I think Narad is finally getting some, seeing people for the first time here. Anyway, what he sees is a young woman in her wedding dress and who's not blessed by anyone yet. Her eyes are dead, but there is so much loss and confusion in them. It reaches out to him across the gulf. And he tells her, that he was a lover of men, and in his last days he told nobody about the visions tormenting him. That he used to step from one time to another, but always on this perfect shoreline. So is this why Eran is so overpowered in Crippled God? Because he has the power of all the other Edans in him?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing, and the other thing is like this Hust blade that he carries, which is, apparently taking over him. So, yeah.
Okay, then she's worried that they're both lost and she wonders how long they need to wait. He lies to her, saying that soon the storm will awaken and our suffering will end. Then she asks who killed Draconus.
Come on, may I?
Pausing,
Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm geeking out as fuck, but in Dust of Dreams, I'm not gonna say the chapter number.
Please don't.
No, it's chapter 18. It's that chapter with a shake.
I mean, I am like this. Most people would appreciate knowing the chapter number, so please.
And there's that one of the more infamous scenes from that book of, like Jan and Yedan finally reach the first shore, and they come upon all those things, and basically the conversation that transpires, among many, many, many other things, which is just deserves a video all on its own, like 2 hours long. But the point is, Twilight is cursed, quote unquote, to relive these things, because she is Twilight. She ever yields. She must be a queen, must be a woman, because she yields. She ever relives these things.
Why do we suddenly have a Wheel of Time type of a?
I don't know.
Here,
don't ask me. That's how things work.
No, I had never noticed it.
And basically, Jan Tovis, Twilight, fears that like this is going to be forever. And Yedan's response is nothing lasts forever. This must play out. This is fated to play out. In this life, the next, the one after that, 300,000 years to the future, at some point, this cycle must end and begin anew. And yeah, that's very Wheel of Time-ish. It is.
No.
The cyclical nature of history is very Wheel of Time-ish, but
it's just history as well. Wheel of Time doesn't have any, what do you call, monopoly over things happening in a cyclical manner.
But since you brought it up, I might as well,
Yeah, I mean, fair. You read like more than me, a couple of books.
Yeah, until it plays out, only there our spirits know peace. And when it does, the cycle begins anew, because we've seen Yedan, Narad, this iteration. We've seen Yedan Dereg, the last iteration. And we've seen whoever the fuck this Yedan is, who is looking at Latal Menas up on the Silver Sea.
Yeah.
Who is just, there. And these are all part of the same cycle, presumably, if not initiated, at least partly orchestrated by Draconus. And I bring this up because
you're
it's
a geek?
weird, because I'm a geek, but also because Draconus' actions under this context make more sense. Because he's past caring, Like, yeah, someone's gonna die. I can't do this myself anymore, because there is no more Elaine that carries the blood of darkness in them. I need someone else to die. But I can't kill them because I have some standing. I'm a good person, he's not. So I'm gonna commission the other people to do it for me. I'm gonna take my bastard son away, despite the fact that I have 3 other daughters who are older than him, and I have never regarded him in my life. I'm gonna take him away with no reason. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna dump him there, and I'm gonna leave him there.
There's something on the way. Don't forget that.
Yeah. He finds her answers. He does. He
has. No. He finds Ferren and says, "Teach him to have sex."
Yeah, that too.
Why not? Yeah.
There's just so many inhuman and inhumane actions that Draconus partakes in, which makes a lot more sense if you view him as a man at the end of his rope. He is sick of this shit.
No.
He is sick of dragon assembling. He is sick of civilizations falling and failing. He is sick of all of this. So he's like, no, fuck it. I'm done playing by the rules. I'm gonna do this right, or I'm not gonna do it at all. And the right way is cruel. It's terrible. It's not a good thing.
No. Listen, the point is, he could have just shut his mouth and sat in one place.
He could
He's
have.
doing all this for Mother Dark. I mean, if we assume that it is
Yeah.
this, yes, right? Are you disputing that? That he's doing all
That
this
he's.
for the sake of Mother Dark?
I do think he loves her. I don't think it's entirely for her sake.
No. No, if it was entirely for her sake, to some extent, I would think, fine. Draconus is being a Chad. But it doesn't feel like that. He's just.
Yeah, it doesn't, because Dragonapur is very explicitly not about Mother Dark. It's about elemental dark. It's about the gate of darkness, not about his love. Dragonapur is crafted to keep dark away, but dark is his aspect. Dark is him. He is the embodiment of elemental dark. Dragonapur, in a very weird way, Dragonapur is Draconus' way out. Which is what they bring up here. Who kills him? Well, the same guy that frees him. Lord Animander, first son of darkness. Draconus has a very fucking cruel plan. Like, the way Silcast puts it, in Dust of Dreams as well, he's a cold, cold bastard, and I have no regrets for killing him. Well, no, Silcast doesn't have regrets. He doesn't know if Animander has regrets. He never got to ask. But there is an underlying plan here, and it's not all about love. It is very much about love, but not entirely. Dragonapur is not an act of love at all.
Okay.
How does all of this connect back to what Narad and Nezzy are saying here? I have no fucking idea. I'm spitballing here. I'm just going off, you know?
Yeah. Where did I stop? I don't even know.
If you're still here, by the way, thank you. Because you've been through a lot for our sake. God damn.
Just leave us a comment. Say that you heard more than one out of us with this chapter.
Yeah. We left off Yeran who killed Draconus.
Yeah. And she wants to know how he knows all this. And he says he has an answer, but the answer doesn't make sense. And then she suddenly fades away. And this is when he can recall feeling Latal's body, blood in his body, and all that. The whole thing about his guilt is so overwhelming and all that. And I just written begin confusions here. I don't know why. And then he asks, how did you know what he knew? In your language, Minas is the word for shadow. And she was eager to attach that name to this strand, to this Emurlan shore. And he can hear her voice from a place half seen. And in that place, there is a throne. And he blinks and he's back in the forest.
Roll credits. What the fuck?
So Glyph finds him and he says, come, there is a fire, you're shivering. And Narad says that they are being used. Do you want to add one more what the fuck here? Because Narad says the deniers are being used. And Glyph says he doesn't care. They have made vengeance their god. Narad says, no, that is not the answer. They are being used by something that needs a refuge against what is to come. And so it would spend their lives defending its secret. And even Anamander is an unwitting player in this, and Glyph says he would much rather have this god of vengeance. Narad wants that if he is to be the high priest, then he seeks vengeance only against himself, but after the others are dead. So when the others are dead, Glyph will find him and do what needs to be done. And then they go have breakfast. Yeah. So who is the guy? Who is this entity who is using them, using the deniers? I suggested Triss because her section is very next. And the thing is, this whole thing is very Azathanai like, something that needs a refuge and doesn't care spending anybody's lives and doesn't mind using anyone. It's very Azathanai type of a trait. So maybe it's Triss is what I thought. What did you say?
This is where I deeply sigh. And I say
Are you saying Rose theory?
I'm gonna, one of the theories I've seen from Ro, our friend, is that this person who is using the deniers is Edgewalker. Now, I wish to present one piece of evidence for this theory, and that is that Edgewalker is somehow connected, we don't fucking know how, to Lashorn and Anamander's secret. Because when Silcast mentions that he was given a gift by Shadow, he replies that it was not given to him by Edgewalker. And when Tulas hears that name, he freaks the fuck out. He goes like, no, I forgive him. But how could he do that? So why do I think this is not Edgewalker? Well, if you've actually followed me on the sub, you probably know why. I don't like the theory that Edgewalker is just some random Azathanai that is using the deniers. Who I believe is Edgewalker does not matter. It's not pertinent to this conversation. But I don't think it's Triss, because Triss seems to be very much an unwitting player driven by her instincts and her nature, similar to what we describe Erastus as. Yeah, there, see? I'm giving Erastus, fair sphere.
No. See, these are all just theories. There is no answer for who is using the deniers.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Probably. I don't remember. I think so. Otherwise, I'd know about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably not. What I think is going on here is that this could either be some manifestation of shadow, like you have the Elaine that personify their aspects, which we have a name for that. It's an Azathanai, which, lends credence to the Edgewalker theory. I don't like that theory, but it's plausible. The other theory that we might have is that since he saw a throne, and we've already gone over how this might have happened before, it's not a new thing, maybe some entity already sits upon that throne.
Yeah, that's quite possible, right? Yeah.
Maybe some entity occupies the Throne of Shadow. And this is getting into spoiler territory. I don't know how much of this counts as spoiler, because I don't remember the rest of Fall of Light to tell you. This certainly constitutes a spoiler, but one of the more prominent theories. Yeah.
How are we going to hide the spoilers here?
I don't fucking know. I don't remember. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I'm just gonna refrain from saying anything then, because I don't remember. Okay. It could be a spoiler, it could not be. I don't remember what is said next. I'm just remembering different things I've talked about and gotten through osmosis, because my first pass to this book is just way too superficial to have any consistent theory. But the fact that this all has happened before lends credence to certain theories that maybe someone sits on the throne already. Maybe the Eater have manifested before. Maybe I'm sure there's a way through, is what I'm going to say. I'm sure there is a way through in Walk in Shadow that reconciles everything by recontextualizing Draconus. I don't see it.
Yeah.
At the moment, with the information that I have, I don't see it. I think Steve knows it. I think Steve thinks and has figured out the way through, and it's just a matter of writing it. I just don't know to what extent I can get into details by this chapter. Next chapter, maybe we'll know more. Whenever we revisit the Deniers, we'll know more. I just can't remember, so I'm just going to stop here. If anyone actually has finished the book, shoot me a comment down below. I'll expand on this. Or tweet at us, or something.
Right. May I?
Yeah.
It's already gone so long. It's one of the longest chapters so far. So scene 5 is Threadbare and Triss. Threadbare is on the way to warn the monasteries. Her horse slips and breaks its leg. She falls. She gets a couple of fractures. And then she realizes that she can't reach the Sheikh on time, and nor can she make it back to Manalat. And then she slowly makes her way to the dying horse to mercy kill it. Triss finds her. And side note, this is when Threadbare notices that there is a slight hump in the track. And even though the snow on either side is very thin, and she thinks, I don't know, it just casually mentions that it is not easy to bring a four-legged beast down. And so the sweep of ice is longer than the widest stance of a horse at its slowest trot. So somebody has made ice there to make a horse slip and fall, to make it break its leg and fall down. So if Triss is this manipulative, why wouldn't she be doing more? So Then Triss offers to kill the horse. She does some magic. The horse loses color for an instant and appears to die. And then she says, "I learned much about mercy from a warden friend, called Farrowhead." Then they discuss Threadbare can't reach a destination on time and that a storm is coming. She says, "If you're going to kill me like you killed the horse, I'd rather you don't." And Triss says, the horse also would have said the same thing and defended itself. Anyway, it's a very nicely done thing. Then she takes her to a cave for shelter, and as they're removing the saddle and all that, Threadbare notices a second instance of colorlessness on the horse. Triss takes her through this limestone pathway, and there is a level floor and a broad cave. Okay, it's probably a crypt. And when she mentions it's a crypt, that's when Triss says, "Oh, that explains the corpse I found inside." She asks, "Is it a dog runner corpse?" And Triss looks at it.
Yeah, dog runners. How does she say it? Hang on.
They have light eyes and things like that. But
broad
you
and
want to tell me
strong.
that?
Broad and strong, thick boned, heavy projecting face with ever so mild eyes of blue or gray. No, not a dog runner.
Not dog runner.
The fuck?
And then she has a small, fireplace, and that's where Threadbare sees this huge thigh bone, which is as big as her arm or something. And she says, again, no, it's not a dog runner. So
as big as her arm from shoulder to fingers, by the way, which is really big.
No, we were thinking it could be like the Telakai or something, right? Like one of those giant races. They have a crypt. And we also saw a similar crypt, Draconus taking Ferren to one of those for a prenatal test. Yeah. So anyway, this is happening here. She is taking shelter there. And back in the train, the horse gets up. It's not dead. It shivers and thinks of Manalat and goes back home.
A steady canter upon a path firm and certain, the purchase of every hoof unquestioned, would take it home before dusk.
So nice. Yeah.
Which begs the question, why did Triss do this?
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer to you.
Why, in the sense, the immediate answer is obvious. She wants Manarath to know that Threadbare is gone, that they have not, the monastery has probably not received the warning. Mm-hmm. Right? And she also, or maybe that is what she meant by mercy, that she doesn't want to really kill the horse. She could save the horse instead of killing it. Mm-hmm. But the point is, she doesn't want the monastery to be warned and be prepared.
Yeah, which is a question. Why?
Because she's using the deniers. This is what she's doing.
Why?
We'll find out when we read book 3.
No, Narad says that whatever is using them, would spend their lives to defend its secret. Triss is very open with everything. She is stupidly open with things.
No. That's how she hides the bigger truths. She can be open about, I was here and I was there, and then you find out that she has a whole criminal underground running. Sorry, I'm. Yeah. Can I go to the next one? Oh yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. All I wanted to mention is that we have a similar. We have the similar motif of Azathanai doing things for seemingly random reasons throughout Draconus. We already mentioned Draconus. Another I would mention is Grizzin Farrell, blocking Mother Dark from accessing Emerald to witness Draconus' arrival in the last chapter of Forge of Darkness. Yeah. There's literally anything Olar Ethel ever does.
Yeah.
I think that's all that immediately comes to mind. I think. But, you also have Brood, who has some pretty shady deals. You have Cruel, and it's like, why are Sarah Planto and Vix there? We don't know.
Yeah.
What is Mail doing? She's fucking having fun, apparently. And so on. So, we don't know why Triss did this. And yeah, I do admit, I kind of like the fact that she's using the deniers. I don't think it tracks with what we learn of Triss, but that would be pretty cool. You know?
Okay.
I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be neat.
So, fine. Scene 6 is something called, I'm calling it the Yanis battle.
Yeah.
Now, Lieutenant Esk, she pretends to be freezing to death, and asks
Well, she probably
Mercy.
is.
Sorry?
She probably is, reasonably speaking.
Yeah. She says, "In the name of mercy, I seek shelter." And then they let her in, and immediately she kills two monks and a child. And then she opens the gate for all the others to come in. And she starts dividing all the soldiers. Let's not go too much into detail because it doesn't matter. Only important thing is she sends Telra to the barracks to burn it down, to bar the windows and burn it all down. And then S goes into the main building to hunt Shekanto. In the main hall, she notices an old man sleeping by the fire and she just kills him because why not? And that's when they realize this is Skelinal. So she's just murdered higher grade Skelinal, right? So one of her soldiers starts blabbering about we spilled royal blood and all that, and then she gets mad. This one I really liked. It really affected me. She says something like, "Open your
What the
eyes.
fuck
This is
did
a
you think was
civil
going to
war."
happen? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what we are doing. We are clearing the steps to the throne. Then outside Shekanto's room are two bodyguard warrior priests, and these three guys they just die one after the other. Esk
It's
and the
two of
two
them.
fellows. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, it's two guards, and like there's three guys, and then like another 20 soldiers go in, and like three come out.
Yeah. So no, this particular thing, it's like 1 page or 2 pages of each of them in their POV, dying in their POV. It's really well done, very, very well written. So they all die and they don't even realize how they're being attacked. And one of them, his dying thought is about how he was, hazed by his fellow soldiers to dig a pit in sandy
In
soil or something.
sandy clay, yeah.
And he kept, he needed a rope to be rescued. Is this a type of symbolism we need to bring up here? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean,
No?
if it is, it's insidious, and I can't think about anything.
I'm too tired to make a point, but it's probably something like the soldiers are just digging their own hole, right? They're not able to escape unless they're like
Yeah,
thrown a rope
that's
or
good.
something.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Like the rest was just physical descriptions of them just dying, and then this guy had a dying POV thought like, I skinned my knees, that type of a POV thought, no? So Telra, she's the one who burned down Neris's estate.
Yeah.
When she hears the shrieks from inside the barracks, she thinks of that estate burning, and then
I can admit I'm wrong, okay? Because
it's not
way
her.
back in chapter 4, way back in chapter 4, chapter 3 rather, you have Rennick talk to Ginia about the people, his list, which has Telra, Prill, who is in this chapter, and Farab, whom I'm not sure if is in this chapter.
Okay.
And the very next scene after that is Glyph's introduction, where he's hunting down Legion soldiers, and it's one woman and two males. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that make sense if it was like, if this was the group whom Rennick is hunting? No. Turns out no. Absolutely no relation. Yeah.
It's always she's had 3 guys with her, right? It's not 2 guys.
So I'm wrong there. I'm man enough to admit my faults, and I'm wrong.
Yeah. Do you need a gold medal or something?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Do you need a certificate of appreciation for this?
Anyway, please carry on.
Yeah. So then and then she's thinking about this burning down the estate thing, and she thinks she had exceeded her orders, but poor thing.
Yeah, she was drunk.
So it's fine. Then finally, Khalid Bahan's squad start arriving. The first one is led by Uskan. And then he's the one who realizes that shit has gone down because Esk is not yet out. And he tells, her to stay there and takes his squad inside the main building. Right? None of them care. And finally, the POV switches and Khalid Bahan comes. He sees that Elra is directing the laying down of Legion corpses. Nearly 3 rows of bodies killed by 2 bodyguards. And then, because, he's so strict about cowardice, right? So he asks, why didn't Telra go inside and help them? She says she was following orders to guard the gatehouse because that was the last order she had received. Then she tells him that both Shekanto and Skelinal are both dead. And so he goes inside. And inside, what does he see? Uskan sitting in front of skeleton's corpse, who is also dying, and he says that he's glad that the rest of the monks are burned, because with two of them defending this Shikanto, nearly 19 people died, all of them in total. And then he says that, the funny thing was she was already dead inside the bed. And she was, these guys were defending a dead body, these two warrior priests. They killed 19 people defending a dead body. Where else have we seen people defending a dead body? Briss for Esgara. Esgara was already dead when he's dead, and Briss does everything and then dies. Yeah, sad. Okay, so this is when Halid says that, leave his corpse here. It looks like these two are sitting and talking to each other beyond death. So he leaves the body, and then he's asked what to do about the prisoners. Who are the prisoners? They are the children. And Halid does this one act of semi-decency, because he says put all the kids into a wagon and send them to Yadan monastery, because they have no leader, they have nothing to do, let them handle their own children. And as for themselves, they have finished the sheikh, so now they can go and finish the deniers. And who does he promote? He promotes Telra to be his lieutenant. And she says some throwaway line like maybe he got careless. Uskan got careless and that's how he died. So that's the end of this chapter. That's the end of this section.
By the way, that's like bollocks, I should mention.
Yeah,
there is absolutely nothing to do. There's a quote in this from the Book of the Fall, like about how like every battle is just a flip of one's coin, who lives, who dies.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do.
Yeah? You brought this up, which I didn't know. Why was Kelinal in this monastery?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are kids here. That's it.
I choose to believe it's because he wanted to. No, that's bollocks. He's here for the kids. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think we should stop here. I really don't.
Yeah, I think anything more we could discuss would be spoilers for future chapters, and I think we've already exhausted all the subject matter which we could draw out from these chapters, and like this one just doesn't have that much to discuss. Like, okay, yeah, they all died. Ooh.
How much more of this book do we have left? 60%. We have finished 60%. Not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what. The final chapters become longer and longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah. But ultimately, which is unusual because usually I have something to say, but I don't really have anything to say here. So, yeah. So, do you?
I also told you, this is not the correct time to be reading this book. So, yeah. I'm happy we have done this much. So, let's see.
Yeah. Shall we wind up?
Yeah. Good night. Bye.
Yeah. Good night. Bye.
Thank you.